The following is a presentation of the Mat Talk Podcast Network. It's time for Inside Virginia Tech Wrestling. We'll talk all things Hokie wrestling with Coach Tony Roby and staff. Now, let's join your host, Hall of Fame wrestling writer and broadcaster, Jason Bryant.
And summertime is here. It's hot. Wrestling season has come and gone, but the international season is heating up today here on episode 67 of Inside Virginia Tech Wrestling. We'll be meeting Mekhi Lewis, redshirt freshman, heading into his first full season as he's expected to make a big jump into the lineup, into the national rankings this year. Mekhi, welcome to the program.
What's up?
All right, so you've 1 year college is down. You redshirted. You had a really good season in open tournament competition. You had a pretty good showing at the Scuffle. Then you went in and started to learn this freestyle wrestling stuff. So for those who are unfamiliar, how much freestyle wrestling did you actually compete in prior to entering the Open in Vegas?
Well, I only wrestled in one other freestyle tournament, like my freshman year. It was freestyle states, and I didn't really know how to wrestle freestyle back then either. And like after that tournament, I think I took second. After that, like I just stopped. Like I just didn't want to wrestle freestyle, so I never focused on it.
And it's one thing. So when you go, it's been years, probably what, four and a half years since you wrestled the freestyle tournament in high school. Then what is the how does the coaches convince you? It's like, hey, we got junior nationals coming up, then junior world team trials. I mean, how eager were you to try it again? And was there any convincing that the staff had to do to get you to wrestle freestyle?
Well, when I looked and saw the world championships, and I was watching some of the guys like Snyder and Burroughs and James Green wrestling it. I wanted to be able to wrestle in something like that one day. So basically it was I just might as well start now. And when the coaches came towards me with wrestling in the Open, basically I convinced myself to do it. Nobody had to convince me. I just wanted to do it.
Before we get back into those goals, I want to dial it back a little bit. And you wrestled in New Jersey growing up, Bound Brook High School. Great wrestling tradition at Bound Brook. A lot of guys that have gone on to be All-Americans at the college level. And what was it like coming through and wrestling for that high school program?
It was pretty good. It was exciting, and also I used to get nervous a lot because it is a tradition. And you have to keep the tradition going. And I feel when it came to wrestling for Bound Brook, the fans and stuff, always supported you in your down times, and even if they saw you on the street and stuff. So coming from Bound Brook in that tradition to be able to come and wrestle for Tech was pretty amazing for me. But also being in that room with a whole bunch of kids who have the same goals as you and want to achieve what you want to achieve, it just makes it a whole lot easier on the coaches in the room. So coming from a high school like that just made it more easier for me to be successful in the college room.
When did you start wrestling, and what made you keep coming back to it?
I started wrestling when I was 5. I remember my dad, one of my mom's friends came up to my mom and told her that she should put me and my brother in wrestling. And I remember the first practice getting yelled at, and I had to sit out because I was too much. They couldn't control me because I thought it was WWE. I didn't know how to actually wrestle. So then one day the coach took me to the side, told me if I want to be serious about it, I need to like start learning and stop goofing around. But I didn't stop goofing around, but I actually like started learning as like a little kid how to wrestle like at 5. But I didn't start taking it serious until I turned 8.
In New Jersey, there's this swagger that comes along with it. One state championship individually. It is something to wrestle at Boardwalk Hall. It's something when you get into college that, I'm from Jersey. There's a couple Jersey guys on the team, but do you take pride in wearing that Jersey banner at the college level?
Oh yeah, I say it all the time. I mess around with the other kids in the locker room who not from Jersey. I'd be like, Jersey's the best wrestling state, and like everybody always laughs at me when I say that. But I coming from Jersey, like I just feel like I don't know, we have just like a certain like swagger to us. That's why we're like good and like we produce like good wrestlers on the college level and internationally.
There's several Pennsylvania wrestlers on the roster and wrestlers from Ohio, so I'm sure that New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio argument is quite spirited.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. It is. Honestly, like those 3 states, it's like 3 other states to me that come to mind when I think about wrestling too. And having like those kids from like those states also in the room helps out a lot because like we all have different backgrounds. So I mean, it's just fun messing around, playing with each other about who's the best state, whatnot.
Coming out of high school, you had committed to Virginia Tech as a junior under the previous staff. Of course, Tony Roby was part of that staff. And when that coaching change happened and Coach Dresser left and Coach Roby was elevated and ultimately promoted to be the head coach, did you have any second thoughts, or were you looking at the process, or were you going to be a Hokie the whole time?
Honestly, I was set on Virginia Tech. It didn't matter like when the coaches left because I knew if Roby would have stayed, like it would have been okay and fine. Because honestly, the coach I really talked to most was Roby. I talked to Dresser a good amount too, but it was like Roby. I talked to him mostly. So like when I heard like they left, like I just decided like I was gonna stay. And my dad told me because he asked me like if I wanted to like make the change, and I told him like no, like it never like crossed my mind to like go anywhere.
So I take it the visit down to Blacksburg must have been pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, I visited like a couple of times, like I think like 3 or 4. But like the first time I ever visited compared to the last time I ever visited, like it never changed. Like even going to school now, like everybody was so friendly to me. The coaches were great, and like my teammates were great too. So like they made me like feel like it was like a family environment, which it is. That's why like I just was grateful for like having the opportunity to wrestle for Virginia Tech.
When the coaching situation rights itself and, Roby's the head coach, and then they bring in Frank Molinaro, they bring in Jared Frere. There's a couple of Olympians. Ty Walls, who was part of the program, stays on to train with the Southeast Regional Training Center and is an assistant coach. I mean, when you see 2 Olympians right around your weight, you've got to be pretty excited about that.
Yeah, because I knew like they had they had experience. Like they have experience on the college level and internationally, and like basically they could teach me because I feel like I still have a lot to learn. And coming like in and having guys who like competed internationally, helping you out, training you, like they know what they're talking about and they know what they're doing. So I was just excited to be able to get like the chance to work with both of them and even Ty Walls too. And Tyler Graff too, because he has a lot of good stuff too.
Circling back now to freestyle, you went through the Open, and then all of a sudden you're in Rochester, Minnesota, and you win the UWW Junior World Team Trials. You beat Alex Marinelli in the process. And for somebody who is basically, still freestyle novice and only spending really a couple of weeks fine tuning it, where was your biggest improvement between Vegas and Rochester?
My biggest improvement was just believing in myself. I went to the Open, and I really didn't believe in myself. I felt like mentally, I wasn't there the whole tournament. Physically, I wasn't kind of there either because of me being mentally not there. Because I being my first freestyle, actual big freestyle tournament. I was kind of nervous. I was getting in my own head, kind of. But when I went to Minnesota and I already had that freestyle first experience under my belt, then just going out there, just telling myself I can compete with everybody, I can wrestle with everybody. The coaches telling me that I was good enough to make the team basically before every single one of my matches helped me a lot, just mentally, and then I just wrestled and not thinking too much, just wrestling, blocking out everything, and just acting like it's a practice match, how we wrestle in the room, matches on Friday, just basically putting that into my actual match in Minnesota, and that's what I think helped me a lot to win the junior world trials.
So now, Junior World Team, you've got the whole summer to prepare. It's it's going to creep into the preparation for the college season. But first of all, what do you know about Slovakia?
Nothing. I know that I know that it's in Europe. That's the only thing. I know that. But other than that, I don't know anything.
So, will this be your first ever overseas trip?
Yes, and I'm excited about it.
So you've never left the country, and you're getting the opportunity to do it. So you've done all the passport paperwork. You're ready to get on the plane and go, right?
Yeah. I've done all that stuff.
Now, when we look at the Southeast Regional Training Center, what is that atmosphere like for an off season? I think obviously this is your first. You went through your first year, and this is your first real off season with college wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But describe what the practice situation is like, and how often you guys get workouts. And of course, with David McFadden making the U23 World Team, you guys are going to probably be working together a lot this summer.
Yeah, the workouts it's fun. I find the workouts fun. It's not really as hard as it was preseason or during the season. It's more a little laid back. We're learning more and more because it's a different style. And some of us don't really know a lot about it. For others know a good amount. So the coaches help out with practicing and getting the right type of practice for us so we could peak at the right time, during competition, not before. So I just like that practice is more for us, our bodies, and not overtraining us, basically.
What have the discussions been like with the coaching staff about going from a redshirting season where a lot of 2-hour weigh-ins with open tournaments, you're not traveling with the team, and then you've got to go in through and prepare to make to try to win a world medal, and then you're going to come back and be into that college grind where you're now going to be on 1-hour weigh-ins with dual meets, you're traveling. I mean, there's a significant difference in how you prepare for those type of seasons. And how have you tried to prepare yourself, and how have the coaches tried to prepare you for that change, and knowing all the while you've got this world championships you've got to compete in later in the year?
Yeah. Well, me and the coaches haven't discussed really the college season yet. We probably are when I get back to Blacksburg. But for the world, basically, I have to not overtrain. I still have to train hard, what they put me through and stuff, and focus on that. They told me not to really worry about the season because I do have the world championships I'm trying to win. So basically just be all in for that and just having fun while I'm doing it. Not being like too like focus on like trying to impress people, just like going out there wrestling how I know how to wrestle basically, and just representing Virginia Tech in the United States in a good way. Yeah, that's basically it.
Coming into this year, you had the opportunity. David McFadden's coming in off of a red shirt, back in the lineup. He places again. What are those battles like with him in the room? I mean, how much do you guys feed off each other, and what's it like to, I'd say your styles are you're both good on your feet, but you're both stylistically a little bit different. But what do you guys get from one another when you scrap?
When we wrestle, it's like back and forth, and like I feed off of other people. Like if they're like doing good or wrestling good, then like that's gonna get me pumped to like try to push myself to wrestle good. So like Dave like pushes me in the room every single day, and I have a few other people who push me in the room too. But like being able to like see his style, see the way he wrestles, and like try to like tweak some of the stuff he does good into my style, basically. And he could like vice versa, he could do the same thing with me, and like just feeding off of each other, like energy, like having like good energy every day and practice positive energy, I think helps me a lot. And knowing that he already All-American twice at nationals, and knowing that I'm like able to wrestle with him a full go, just giving me the confidence to go into next year and just not be afraid or worried about any person I have to wrestle that lines up on the line with me.
One of the cool things about the sport of wrestling is when you hit certain benchmarks internationally, whether it be at a domestic international tournament in freestyle and Greco, you get to go to Colorado Springs and you get to work out. What was your first reaction to when you went to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs?
My first reaction was there's a lot of good people here, and I do not think nobody's going to want to help me. But they did a good job of like making me feel comfortable and like getting guys like Kyle Dake and David Taylor to like go with me, teach me, learn a few stuff. Those coaches are like really good. They were showing a bunch of moves, like moves that I never saw before. And I was like, it just got me like so much interested in freestyle, and like seeing them talk about it and like their like everyday life, like them waking up in the morning, going to film, watching like international wrestling, just was like pretty cool. Like just being around them made freestyle seem way cooler than what I thought it was.
You walk in that facility. When I was out there a couple years ago when I worked at USA Wrestling, the room wasn't as nice as it is now. Now you've got it is a lot of wrestling space. And when you get that opportunity to see what USA Wrestling and the US Olympic Committee is doing for the sport of wrestling and providing that type of atmosphere. And then on top of it, you'd mentioned Dake and Taylor. I mean, you get your hands on people that, I mean, these are obviously people you look up to, but who was the most intimidating person that they put you against? Is okay, you guys are going to go.
The most intimidated. I mean, I wasn't really intimidated by any of them. I just wanted to have the experience of wrestling them. Like, I don't know. I really didn't get intimidated by any of them. I just knew like it was gonna be tough going up against like. I remember they put me with David Taylor to go. I think 2 matches or a match. No, 2 matches, and like I was doing pretty decent in the hand fight. He kept taking me down. Though I got kicked down to the lace though, but other than that, like I wasn't really intimidated wrestling those older guys because, like, in the future I might have to wrestle them anyway. So
yeah, Taylor's got a little bit of weight on you right now too. But
oh
now,
yeah, he does.
one thing that's also awesome, and you're actually blessed with Virginia Tech and even my experiences there with Team Virginia as far as our training camps preparing for Fargo, even a decade ago, was the dining hall situation. Virginia Tech's really good. Now, the dining hall situation at the Olympic Training Center, that thing's something else. I mean, what were your thoughts? Like, did you get to experience Pad Thai Tuesdays?
I did not experience that yet. The dining hall is really good. Like, I honestly, I was losing weight down there more than I was at Tech, and I was like eating good food. Like, it was real healthy, but it was still good. Like, it's just hard to explain. Like, that food is really good.
You've kind of got to be there now. When you were out there, did they take you guys up the incline?
We're supposed to do that, I think, in one of the next 3 camps that they want us to go to, but we didn't do it for the camp that I went to.
And for those for those who don't know, the incline is it is almost, I mean, you go up a mile and it's like a 2,000 foot increase in altitude. So I know I tried it once and failed miserably. I made it about a third of the way up before I said, screw this, and went back to work. So just be aware. You might need a day or two to acclimate before you try it, because that is, I mean, for elite athletes, that's a struggle, and I am definitely far from an elite athlete. So it was a comedy of errors when I tried it a couple years ago. Now, as we move forward, you'd mentioned watching guys like James Green, Jordan Burroughs, Kyle Snyder, and really it made you want to represent the United States. And do you think that's something that's maybe kind of changing with people that maybe didn't wrestle a whole lot of freestyle, is now that there's so much promotion and you get to see guys like Burroughs and Green and Snyder and the Final X that we just finished up with in round 1 in Lincoln, they're more accessible to guys like you. So the world championships and the Olympic championship dreams, you don't really have to seek them out as much. They're kind of drifting in front of you. What's that mean to be able to watch guys like that in some of their primes? I mean, you spoke about it a little bit earlier, but I mean, what makes you really want to watch these guys and become Team USA representative?
What makes me like want to like watch them, to like be like them, is just the way they like carry themselves and just the way they wrestle. Like, they wrestle with a whole lot of confidence. They like got like a certain type of like swagger to themselves. Like, and they all wrestle different from each other. That's what makes it like seem like I could like one day do it. Like, I kind of wrestle like a mixture of like James Green and Burroughs, but just like seeing them and seeing them being successful on an international level just makes me like want to do the same thing. And they're both from New Jersey too, so I mean, it's not like I can't do it. And also Snyder too, like seeing how young he was doing it just like gets you like pumped and like want to train even more and like try to go harder, so you can like be competing with these older guys as like a sophomore or junior in college, trying to make like a world team or even Olympic team. So that's like my goals.
When we get back and you're going to be done with the Junior Worlds, whether it happens, you're going to get back into the college grind. And what are you most looking forward to this year? I mean, you know, there's a lot of depth at your weight class. It's not, you're going to have to fight for that spot, regardless of, what happens. I mean, BC's had it, he wrestled pretty well there, 57. Solomon's still figuring out what he's going to do. But, the weight cut, the opportunity to represent Virginia Tech, I mean, what are some things that you're going to have to take care of before that first whistle blows and that first open in November?
Just managing my weight and just being prepared to wrestle at the weight class, and just not worrying about anybody else, just worrying about myself. Like, don't get caught up in what everybody's talking about or like what people think is going to happen. Like, just staying focused and being prepared every single day, going out wrestling hard in practice, So when the time comes and I'm stepping on the mat, that I know 100% that I'm going to win.
And perhaps the most important question of your life on this show. You're from New Jersey. Is it pork roll or is it Taylor ham?
I mean, I don't care. You can call it anything. I think of it as the same thing. So, I mean, people call it Taylor ham down here. But, like, when I was younger, I used to call it pork roll all the time. So,
yeah, because it seems like the pork roll is more of a South Jersey thing, and then it creeps. When you get closer to New York, it's more of a Taylor ham. But I'm going to say pork roll just because, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I got a hunch that I've probably eaten a significant amount. I mean, athletes really don't need to be eating all that stuff because that's really not proper fuel for a D1 athlete. So I will let you off the hook with that question. But Mekhi Lewis is, as we probably now the second most important question, coming from New Jersey. We've got a lot of accents. We've got a lot of different ways to say names. What is the worst way you've ever heard your name announced at a tournament?
Mekhi or Mekhi or what was another one? They don't know how to pronounce the first part, like the M-E. They always say Mek every single time. And then sometimes people spell my name wrong. Like, even at the World Trials, the World Junior Trials, my name was spelled wrong. So people, they was, pronouncing my name wrong. And I think somebody had to, tell one of their announcers how to, pronounce my name. So, and also people, will spell it, Mehaki. Yeah, that's terrible. It's so bad.
I will admit that sometimes a Google search, I'll invert the H and the K, and then it's always going right to HokieSports.com and going okay, I just want to make sure I should know this, but if you think you've got it, you're going to make a mistake. So just for your benefit, I know I make sure I double check it every time, and I'm probably going to spell it 3 or 4 times differently, and then I got to get it right before we get this out. But Mekhi, it's always good talking with you. Actually, it was this is the first time we've actually spoke, so it is a great opportunity to talk to you here. I know that Hokie Nation is excited to hear about what you've got coming out this year. Again, Slovakia with the Junior World Championships. I'll actually have an opportunity to be out there with you. So maybe we'll recap another episode with Mekhi Lewis out at the Junior Worlds. But for now, good luck with your training. Enjoy your time in New Jersey, and we'll see you on the mats in Blacksburg here soon.
All right, thank you. Have a nice day.
Hokie fans, listen to Inside Virginia Tech Wrestling anywhere you go by subscribing on Apple Podcasts. Go to InsideVirginiaTechWrestling.com/iTunes, or you can get the exclusive Android or iOS apps by going to InsideVirginiaTechWrestling.com.
Show is part of the Mat Talk Podcast Network. For more wrestling podcasts, head over to MatTalkOnline.com.